What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pod Scum. I'm your host, your bastard of ceremonies, Reckless Rexx Ruger. That, of course, is the Freddie Mercury puppet. We got another kick-ass episode, but what would you expect? It's what you've come to expect on Pod Scum. This is where the cool kids come to chop it up with your boy, Rexx Ruger, a.k.a. Diamond David Lee Roth Jr., and the hard science will prove that very soon. That you are, once and for all, looking at the son of glam, the front man for the band, adored by millions of fans, the peanut butter to your jam, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, Mr. Wop, Boppa, Lou, Boppa, Wop, Bam, Bam, Shazam, hot damn, looking like the man, sounding like the man, and, oh, looking so good. God damn, it should be a sin to look this good. A great guest on his way in here, man. I'm excited. Fellow New Yorker, which is always good. New Yorkers, the cream of the crop. Maybe I'm a little biased, but I mean, come on, folks. Search your heart. You know it to be true. Just like you know that you're looking at Diamond David Lee Roth Jr. You know that New Yorkers, come on. Some of the most badassedness of the badasses. I just got off of work, folks, so I don't know. I'm a little too out there right now, man. I got to rein it in a little bit, man. But, yeah, we're badasses. I'm going to fucking say it. And I'm sure when my guest gets in here, he'll fucking say it too, man. And especially us big, tall, good-looking New Yorkers, which I count myself among that group. 6'4", tall, the quaff like Roth, which, by the way, you can get in this nifty little can right here, kids. Get it, use it, love it. You might not be able to look this good, but you can probably look pretty good. And you know what they always say? Die young and leave a good-looking corpse. So my guest will be in here un momento. Let me remind you guys to like and follow Pod Scum on Facebook. And also, let me remind you also, if you're watching this, to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay tapped in to the best conversations anywhere. That being said, what else is going on? At the time of this recording, it is October 14th, Game 2. Mets in the National League Championship Series got molly-whopped, if you will, last night by the Los Angeles Dodgers. So we will see what today brings. Our guest is here, so I'm going to shut the fuck up and get down to chopping it up with him, man. Let's get down to it. Sal, how are you?
Good. How you doing, man?
Good. Listen, man, I want to say right off the rip, man, you're still in the New York area, correct?
Yes.
I lost your camera there for a minute.
Yeah, it's put something on the screen. Would like to access your. All right, allow. How's that?
It's an exciting time to be a New Yorker, man. Are you a sports fan?
Absolutely.
I mean, Yankees, Mets.
Yankees.
Are you a Yankee fan?
Big time.
Yeah, I'm a long-time suffering Mets fan, man. So there hasn't been a lot. There hasn't been a lot to be happy about in a long, long time. And I don't know if there's going to be anything to be happy about this year either. I was just telling, in my little preamble before you came in here, I was saying how we got molly-whopped by the fucking Dodgers last night, which was not a good way to start a series right there, man. The Mets historically have never been very good going out west anyway.
No, that's true. You're right. Good point.
You know, I don't like to see us having to go west. And the Yankees are playing who? Because I'm not really following the American League as much. The who?
The Cleveland Guardians.
Oh, that's right. We have to be politically correct now. They can't be Indians anymore.
They can't be Indians anymore.
What about you? Did you ever play sports, man? You look like a good-sized guy, right? Every time I see you in the band pictures, man, you're a tall drink of water.
I played hockey, I played basketball, and I played football.
Yeah. How big are you? 6'4"?
6'4".
Yeah, me too. Me too. So let me backtrack and get back to the beginning, man. So I kind of want to. I'm interested in your origins, man. When you started doing this hardcore thing, man, was there a specific album or an artist or a song that really kind of sparked it all for you?
Yeah, the Cro-Mags, Age of Quarrel.
Oh man, come on, that's the album right there, right?
It's the greatest record ever made.
Right here, man. Sal is going on record right now with saying it's the greatest record ever made. You know, it'd be hard, man, in the hardcore circle, man, to argue against that, though.
Yeah, I mean, there are people that will probably have other opinions, but
oh, fuck them.
True that.
But now, what was it about that album, though, man? Like, how did it speak to you, man? Like, what was it about that particular album, man? I mean, it's great on so many different levels, but for you, specifically, what was it about that album?
Well, first off, it's straight killer, no filler.
I
mean, every song is just amazing. I mean, you can't beat it. It's like even today, to this day and age, there's still people trying to emulate that sound. You know?
Yeah, you're right.
So if you're still trying to do things in 2024 that a band did back in 1986,
I know.
You know, that says a lot about that band. I mean, they did something right. And I mean, look, I'm not going to take nothing away from any of the other bands from that generation. You know, like there's a lot of great bands. Agnostic Front, Sick of It All, Youth Today, Judge. You know, all of these bands great in their own right. But I mean, that record is, you can't touch it.
And was there other musical genres that were kind of your gateway, man, or did you just get into music and you were right into the heavy stuff right away?
I mean, I listened to a lot of. As a kid, I loved the radio. You know, I mean, I used to listen to Casey Kasem's Top 100, Z100, when Z100 was like a radio station that people used to listen to. I mean, when I'm going back to 8, 9 years old now, you listen on Saturday mornings. I listened with my mother to Top 100 while she was cleaning, and I would be helping her clean the house. Yeah, that's what was on the radio, you know. So I listened to everything growing up. You know, being it from where I am, you know, Queens, growing up there, it was like, you know, my area was very Italian, so you know, a lot of the music that I listened to disco as a kid, you know, 9, 10 years old. Who's hot? Donna Summer. Everybody listened to Donna Summer, you know. So, you know, that's the kind of music that I grew up listening to. And that's still to this day. I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm strictly, you know, I'm not one of those people that's just like, oh man, gung ho straight, got to listen to metal hardcore. I listen to everything. Yeah. I'm not even going to lie. There's only one musical genre that I don't like, and that's called country.
I'm not a fan either, man. I'm not a fan, and especially nowadays, because it seems like, you know, it's got a little bit on the pop side. Like, I can respect like those old guys like Waylon and Johnny Cash, man, or whatever. Sure. I think they'd be rolling over. I think they'd be rolling over in the graves if they saw what was passing for country nowadays. Right?
You mean they got a lot of stuff that they call country today, like, you know, like popular artists like Morgan Wallen and Luke Combs. These guys, I'm sure they had country roots to begin with, but now they're doing pop music. Because everybody gets a taste of the almighty dollar, and that's it. They just run with it, you know. Yeah.
So when you guys get together, and correct me if I'm wrong, Sworn Enemy's last album was Game Changer in 2019, correct?
Yes.
What do you guys think you are, Metallica? Making us wait all this time for new music?
I mean, I wish we could put music out faster.
It's not as easy. It's not as easy, and the formula's not as easy nowadays. But when you guys do get together to create music, man, like, what's the creative process like? Like, you guys all get into a room. Is it very collaborative? Does somebody from the band come in with the lion's share of the ideas?
I mean, I don't even know how we do it because they don't want me around.
They don't want you around.
They don't want me around. I'm like that guy that's like, you know, I'm the pain in the ass one. It's like, no, I'm not singing over that. That sucks. Change it. No, get rid of that. So now they just put music together without me, and I guess that's the process.
But are you the guy putting the lyrics to it?
Most of the lyrics, yeah, I would say so.
And where do you draw the inspiration from the lyrics, man? Like, what is the well that you kind of draw from? Like, are you a guy that, you know, pulls shit from everyday life? Are you like a guy that focuses on what's going on politically or in the news? Or like, what kind of gets you charged up to put pen to paper?
It used to be like a little bit of everything, but now I focus more on like what's going on in the news and shit like that, you know, around the world. Like,
always plenty of shit, always plenty of material.
Well, I'll tell you what, the news is never short of material. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You know,
there's
plenty.
And it's always kind of depressing too, man, nowadays, man. It's a strange time right now. It really is.
There's a ton of shit going on everywhere in the world, and it's fucked up, man. And I mean, even right here, shit's fucked up here too. America, as great. And listen, I mean, I've been around the world many times. I've visited many countries, and it's still safe to say that I don't want to live anywhere but here.
Right.
But here is starting to catch up with the rest of the world.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, it's like we used to once upon a time be like the greatest country, and you know everything was all peachy keen here. But now it's I feel bad for the kids that are, well, how should I put it? I mean, do I have to be politically correct?
I wouldn't be. No.
I feel bad for the kids that are normal growing up in this world that are not part of this fucking crazy ass thing that we got going on over here now, but whatever.
Now, because you said you travel all over the place, you know, you got your kind of, you know, obviously your ear to the pavement, you know what's going on in the music world, you do it for a living. Do you think nowadays, because you did bring up a great point earlier about how, you know, I always think that great New York hardcore, I'm an upstate New York guy too, with that great New York hardcore was really born and bred, you know, out of where those guys came from, that Lower East Side. It was gritty. It was a different time in New York City, man. You know, is that music able to be tapped into and made nowadays? It seems like young bands, no disrespect to guys that are carrying the hardcore flag right now, but can they tap into that same thing in today's world? It seems like it's a much more easier world. Things are much more convenient, man. You know, do they have it fucking, I was talking about this with somebody in a punk rock band the other day. Do they have it rough enough to make good fucking punk or hardcore music? The ethos, I guess. You know what I mean? The ethos of it all.
No,
you
can't. I mean, those guys, you're talking about the streets of New York, late 70s, early 80s. It's a different time. I mean, okay, so people, you know, around the way over here are saying that, you know, New York is not the same as it was 10 years ago, where it was very safe. It's not so safe. Still. But you can't compare it to like the 70s and the 80s, where, I mean, the early 80s, before Giuliani cleaned everything up.
Yep.
You know, the late 70s, early 80s. You're talking about a city that was in the top 5 murder capital of the world. It was right there with DC, Chicago, LA. You know, all these places were, you know, oh wow, there's so many murders going on there. It's crazy. These cities are nuts, and Manhattan was no different.
Yeah.
It was in the top 5. So I mean, that's what you look forward to growing up in the streets of New York City.
And these guys had to see a lot. I mean, like, they're coming out of, like, I've seen the documentaries on, like, AF, you know, like, they're coming out of, like, A7, coming out of shows at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, walking through those fucking streets. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
exactly. You know, and, you know, you got to be a little fucking crazy, a little deranged, a little, or just, you just are so sure of your ability to fuck somebody up that you're not worrying about anything.
Right.
You know?
Right. Well, you bring up like the Cro-Mags earlier. I mean, you know, Harley was already kind of succumbed to that stuff, you know, early on. I mean, he's going into clubs at a young age. He's playing drums at a young age. He probably saw a lot already. He probably saw a lot more than a lot of adults even ever get to see in their life by the time he was, you know, 13.
To 13, the dude was on tour already playing drums.
I know, it's pretty crazy.
That's an insane life right there. I mean, you can't. I mean, that's memories he's got. That shit, insane. You know, it's awesome.
But as a huge fan of those bands, and you obviously spoke so glowingly about them right out of the gate here, man. Kind of sad that we can't get back, you know, all the original members though. There seems to be like irreconcilable differences between John Joseph and Harley.
I mean, if it hasn't been fixed yet, I don't think it can ever be fixed, because I mean, if you look at it like this, I mean, the Misfits got back together.
Yeah.
Whoever thought that was going to happen?
Right.
You know, I mean, but it hasn't happened for them, and I mean, I don't think it ever will, to be honest. But what do I know? I mean, I'm not in their scene, so I don't know what they do. I don't know how they interact with other people that they're all close with or friends with. So, I mean, I guess if the money talks, you know, anything is possible with
never
money.
Say never. Yeah.
Right. I mean, you look, the Misfits, I'm sure that, you know, those guys still don't exactly interact with each other, but somebody throws you millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Hey man, it's a different thing when you're walking away with some generational money.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It almost makes you say, "Hey, you know what? I could work with Glenn Danzig again."
Exactly. I mean, look, I like I said, if I had irreconcilable differences with anybody,
Yeah,
you offer me money,
you'll
enough money,
reconcile them.
right? Enough. This is what enough money does for me. It means I don't have to be on the same tour bus with you. I don't have to be in the same dressing room with you, and I don't have to travel with you. So guess what? It works.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
and sometimes you got to think of things other like, sure, the money, if the money is great, but also think of how many people actually want to see the original Mags back together, you know?
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, that would cause like a huge groundswell of excitement. I think not even just in the hardcore world, but in the music world in general. I
Of
think.
course.
You know, I think those bands, they build such a legacy that eventually, like, they transcend any genre. You know, I mean, it wouldn't just be hardcore kids that would want to see that. You know,
I agree. You know, like that's a band where you don't have to be in a hardcore where you've heard of them. You know, I'm sure there's many, 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 many people in the metal scene, the thrash scene, fucking, punk rock, hardcore that all know about this band. Even I'm sure there's some people in the rock world that know about the Cro-Mags.
Now, you having a family of your own, do you still like the nomadic existence of getting out there and like touring and like as you get older and you've done this thing for, you guys are coming up on 25 fucking years, which is pretty incredible, man. You still like being like away from home, and like what's the timeline like for you? Because I know I'm 51 years old. You know, if I'm too far away from my creature comforts for too long, I become more and more of a homebody as I get older. I mean, you in line of work that you do, you don't really have that luxury to, constantly be at home. You have to go out there. You got to promote. You got to sell the record. You got to tour. But do you still enjoy it?
I do.
The touring part.
I like the touring part, but I'll tell you what, it's like any good vacation. The best part. What are the two best parts of a vacation? When you leave. And when you come home, right? You're always happiest when you're leaving to go on vacation.
Yeah.
And then you're always happiest when you're coming home from vacation.
Yeah.
The same holds true with touring. So, you're happy when you're getting ready to leave for tour. And then you're like really happy when you're getting ready to come home from tour, because it is a grind, but we don't really tour as much like what we did in the early 2000s. I mean, the majority of our touring really came to, like, I would say, after like 2009, 2010, it started to slow down a lot. So now
you kind of pick your spots a little more now.
Yeah, we kind of pick and choose what we want to do. Like we've been to this year. So we've been to Japan for a week. We did a little Canadian run with good friends of ours, the Hoods, and Brick by Brick. We were there for 5 days. We went to South America for a weekend. So we pick and choose the things we do. We do a lot of stuff around the way. We play like Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania. If it's if they're good shows that are worth it for us to play, we'll take them.
Yeah. Now I'm in upstate New York. You're still down like near the city though, man. Obviously we were just talking about like a different time in the history of New York hardcore, man. But a lot of those guys are still down there. Does that scene down in the city area still kind of live and breathe? I know it's not the same as it was back in the 80s or whatever, man. But I mean, is it still?
Yeah, it's still going. I mean, you can go to a show down in the city and it's popping.
Yeah. I mean, New York hardcore. I mean, in my mind, and maybe I'm biased because I am a New Yorker, man. But I mean, the hardcore scene. I mean, New York's always been the pinnacle.
Well, you'll get people from other cities that'll say otherwise, but I agree. I mean, that's what I believe.
Yeah. I mean, we've got the Mount Rushmore. I mean, I think we've got the Mount Rushmore, I think, of hardcore bands, though. I mean, I don't think anybody can. 100%. I don't see it. Yeah, I don't think anybody can say any differently, man. I mean, you could just end it at AF, Stick of It All, Madball, and the Cro-Mags, and I mean, that's like a mic drop right there. I mean,
yeah. Tell me another city that's got better.
Yeah, right. Now, so like, what's the timeline like though? Like when you did tour, man, I mean, like when did you start to feel like, all right, man, I'd really like to be home now? Like when do you, I know you're not touring like that now, man, but like, what's like a long extension? Like when do you start feeling like you want to be back home? A month?
No, that's too long. Like, especially in Europe, Europe, 3 weeks. When we were touring consistently and going to Europe like twice a year, like, we would do like 5 weeks at a time. And after 3 weeks, I'm like, God, I'm fucking ready to go home already, man. because it takes it takes a toll on you. It's a lot of wear and tear, you know.
But European audiences are very receptive to the music, though. It almost seems like sometimes, man, like those festivals over there, they come off without a hitch. I mean, yeah, I'm sure they have their problems too, man. But like they have festivals like a motherfucker over there. I mean, way more than we do here, man. It seems like they really embrace the music and they get it a little more than us.
They know how to do it over there, that's for sure. But I mean, I see a lot of festivals now coming up over here where it's kind of like the same, you know. They're starting to get it over here, like where you see shows with Shadows Fall and Biohazard, and then they're playing with like rock bands and pop bands and stuff like the Aftershock and stuff like that. And what's the one that's in West Virginia or Virginia or Rock Ridge or that one, right? Rock Ridge, Aftershock, all of these festivals, they're like, you know, they're kind of like, in order to gain the people to come to pay for the bands, you need to have mainstream acts, obviously. And so with these mainstream acts, they also now have other acts that are harder, you know, like thrash and metal and hardcore and bands like that. So it seems like it's starting to pick up more over here. But I mean, Europe's been doing it for God knows how long.
But it's tough to be a musician. I mean, I talked to so many of them on here, though. I mean, it is really an uphill battle nowadays, though, right? I mean, you know, it always used to be the cliche thing to say, "Oh, I do it because I love it." But now, if you're doing it, you really are in it because you fucking love it. Like, unless you're Taylor Swift or you're way up at the top of the food chain, you're not getting rich.
No, of course, and that's the truth. I do it because I love it. That's the only reason. Because there's no money to be made in this, you know. If there was money, if I had to live off of the band, I would have quit the band a long time ago.
Yeah,
I would be done. I would have been done back maybe 10 years, 14 years, 15 years, whatever.
Now, when you sing the kind of music that you sing, obviously, you know, it's extreme. It's harsh on the vocal cords. Are you somebody that's ever ascribed to any type of like a voice care routine, or are you just a guy that can just get up there and just fucking wail?
Yeah, you know, you just a couple of cigarettes and some whiskey and you're fine.
That's the recipe. There you go,
kids. That's the recipe.
Yeah, that's right. So no warming up, no any of that stuff, no hot tea with lemon, none of those little.
Fuck out of here.
That's not hardcore.
That's not hardcore. I don't need none of that shit. Listen, I haven't practiced or sang. When was the last show we did? We played with Extinction AD a month ago. So and I probably have one practice in before the next show. So and then. Just think about that. That's maybe like a month and a half of not singing. I'll go into the studio. We'll practice. I'll scream my head off, and then I'll be ready for a show.
Yeah.
That's
and
it.
There's no and over a 25-year career, there have been no voice issues, no vocal cord problems, no nothing, huh?
I had one day where I completely had lost my voice. Like I couldn't even talk when I was talking. That was me talking.
Yeah.
Nothing was coming out. Like it was complete dry, like not even hoarse. I don't know what I had. And luckily enough, we didn't have a show that day. We had an off day. So I was able to, you know, I didn't open my mouth the whole day. Just drank a lot of water. That's basically my recipe.
Yeah.
Water.
Hydration.
Hydrate, stay hydrated. That's what I do. I drink a lot of water when I'm on the road. And, I was fortunate enough that was the only time in my life in 25 years of screaming my head off where I never had any issues.
Now you guys started out as Downfall and then Mindset before you guys became Sworn Enemy. Now, so why did Downfall kind of get kicked to the curb?
Because I left the band.
Okay, so you came up with Downfall?
No, but I mean, they still kept the name and kept going with it, but they all wound up breaking up too.
Okay.
Because they couldn't find somebody to fill my shoes.
Okay, so then Mindset came along, and Mindset, Sworn Enemy came about because somebody else surfaced with the name Mindset?
There was a bigger Mindset, I think, from Virginia is where they were from, and they threatened to sue us if we didn't change our name. And at the time, we were talking with Jamie, and Jamie was going to put out our EP, and you know, he's like, Yeah, I can't have that. You know, can't have issues with somebody wanting to sue you over the name. So you're gonna have to change.
So is that how it works? You know, for people that might not know, because you know, I've heard people say sometimes that could be the biggest nightmare in a band is finding a name that somebody doesn't kind of have squatters' rights to already. So exactly. How does that work for people that don't know the business? If someone comes along and they've kind of got more or less seniority, like with the name,
well, no, they actually
had to copyright it, of course.
They had to copyright it, so that's why we didn't. So that's why we had to change the name, because in a court of law, it would have held up for them and they would have won.
And so who comes up with Sworn Enemy?
Me, Lorenzo, and Jamie.
That's a fucking strong one, though. And that wasn't taken.
Nope, nobody had it.
Unbelievable. So what do you do, like, when you got to kind of scramble and Jamie says to you, shit, you know, you got this work, it's in the can, but we can't put it out, man. Like, what do? You just start going on like fucking like a Google search? Was there Google around then? Or you start saying,
no,
shit, is this taken? Is this taken?
We just started coming up with names. Me and Larry were hanging out at Jamie's house, and we were just chilling in his kitchen, and we were just brainstorming and coming up with names, and Sworn Enemy hit.
And you got to go and check and see if there's another sworn enemy, or you just kind of wait and see if another sworn enemy will pop up.
We just kind of waited to see if another one popped up, and nothing else popped up. No dice. Nobody popped up with that name, so we were good.
I'm surprised, man. That you guys fucking slid by with that moment, because that's a strong term right there, man. Sworn enemy. You would think in the pantheon of fucking of great metal bands that somebody would have fucking stumbled across that one.
You would think, but I mean. Thank God nobody did. So
well, too bad, Sworn Enemy. If there's another Sworn Enemy out there, too bad, motherfuckers. You lose. These guys got 25 years in. You can't have the name.
There you go.
We're New Yorkers, man. We'll fucking fight for it, goddammit.
Straight up.
You snooze, you lose, man. It's over now. Sworn Enemy is, and so you guys immediately fucking take it and copyright it. So like when you go to the copywriting process, though, you know, you must know, like, did they tell you, oh, you can't copyright this? There's already another musical artist like with this name.
I'll be honest, we never went and copywritten it.
Wow.
But wow. I think there's something where if that's the name of the band and it's already on a published record, that if there would have been any issues, I mean, somebody would have came and said something right away. So I mean, yeah,
you'd have got like a cease and desist or something,
right? Yeah. So I mean, there was no issues. I mean, and think about it. You think Elektra Records would have allowed that to pass if there was another Sworn Enemy out there?
Yeah,
they would have never. And you know, at the time, 2003 or 2002, when we signed with Elektra, they were, you know, that was one of the cream of the crop labels. I mean, just think about this. We were label mates with Motley Crue, Pantera, Ludacris, not Ludacris. What's his name? Fabulous, Missy Elliott, AC/DC. All these people were on Elektra.
Yeah,
so we shared a label with that.
Yeah, and there's no way they want to deal with all the legal entanglements and all that bullshit. You know what I mean?
So they would have been like, listen, you're gonna have to change your name.
Yeah,
and there was nothing to that. No, there was no anything that came back to us as the saying where, you know, there's another band out there with that name, so it was all good.
Now, I obviously, you know, this is not something that I would think would happen in the extreme metal world. But like, I'm glad you brought up a band like Motley Crue. Like when you see a band like that or a band like Kiss, from a musical fan standpoint, now I'm strictly speaking, we see these bands, these legendary bands, have taken a real whooping the last couple of years when people pulling out their phones and catching them using these. I'm not a musician myself, but these smoke and mirror type trips, be it tricks, backing vocals, you know, adding shit into the mix to beef up the sound a little bit because they can't replicate what they did years ago or whatever. If you're plopping your money down and you're going to see a show, are you okay with that if it makes the show better, or would you rather go see a band authentic, warts and all, even if they kind of don't have it anymore?
No, I don't want to see a band that don't have it, and I don't want to see a band use any shit. I want to see the band just go away.
You just want, okay, so you're saying if you can't cut it no more,
don't do it.
Don't take the fans' money.
Don't take the people's money and try to fake the funk, because you're not cutting it, you know. And Motley Crue. Now here's the thing. Shout out to Devil. Love that record. I grew up on Motley Crue.
Me too.
Like Too Fast for Love and Shout Out to Devil. Two awesome records. I love that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I was a big fan of them. You know, Theater of Pain, not so much, but I did like Home Sweet Home. That was a great song. You know? But Dr. Feelgood, comeback record of the year for that band, man. 1989, that record was unbelievable. I loved it.
Yeah.
And I'm a big, like I said, I'm a big Motley Crue fan.
Me
I don't
too.
give a fuck what anybody says. So I'm in a hardcore band, whatever. I listen to Motley Crue. I love hair metal. I ain't even gonna lie.
I do too. I do too.
There you go. You know, that's the shit I grew up with. That happened to be my timeline, and I love it. But let's get back to Motley Crue. Watching what I see from Vince Neil today, dude, I'm embarrassed for him. Get off the stage. Stop taking people's money. Stop trying to make this, one last tour thing where you're making millions of dollars, because you're killing your name, you're killing your reputation. You sound like shit, and that's the way it is. Just retire already, man.
And to the layman out there who's not a musician, man, like when you go see them in concert and then you come back and you read shit like, like Nikki Sixx hasn't fucking played a note on his bass in fucking years. Everything is piped in or it's pre-recorded or whatever, man. It's very misleading to fans who think that they're going to get there. I would almost be better like if they would say, okay, you're going to see Kiss, you're coming to see the performance, you're going to see the pyro, you're going to see the fireworks, but it's going to be a Kiss performance. They're not going to insinuate that they're playing everything live. They're going to do what they can to bolster the sound and give you the best possible show. But don't make us think like we're seeing this band come out and really playing everything stripped down and live.
But wasn't that always Kiss's shtick? They were, they were. You didn't really. I mean, listen. The music they play, it's not rocket science. People say AC/DC got 3 chords. All right, well, Kiss got 2. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, they were a stage act. You had to watch the visual. The whole thing is what you went there for, The performance, like it was like opera, it was like theatrics,
Yeah. So out of all the amazing characters, man, that are in that New York hardcore scene, man, who's the one in your 25-year career that you've probably gleaned the most wisdom from being around? I mean, a guy like Vinny Stigma just wrote a goddamn book, for fuck's sake. A lot of knowledge in that guy, man.
There is. I mean, I'll be honest. I think I took a lot from John Joseph.
Yeah, I love him too, man. I've read all of his books, man. I just find him a fascinating guy, man. A guy who really lives it.
Yeah, I'm terrible at reading. I don't really like to read. Never did. But
when I say reading,
I listen to his audio files.
Audio books is what I'm referring to.
Audio books, yeah. I mean, I forget what year it was when we were on tour. It was like 2014, 2015, and my guitar player Matt brought the audio books with him, and we listened to them religiously, and it was like, wow, and it's great. Like listening to those stories is amazing, and then him actually telling you is even better.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of self-help gurus out there, man, but the PMA Effect fucking audio book is just like fucking like next level. You know what I mean? Dude, that's the guy that should be giving you a kick in the ass when you need one right there,
Absolutely.
And he's one of those guys too that he does live it. He goes out and does those Iron Man fucking things and all that. The swimming, the biking. You know what I mean?
Everything.
And he's really living it. I mean, even following him on Facebook, he's out there on the streets. He's fucking serving at soup kitchens. Yeah, I mean, he's serving food to people on the streets. I mean, he's really about that life.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
So for you. And of course, this is a subjective question, man. And it doesn't have to just be hardcore bands. For you, what's your Mount Rushmore of all-time musical acts? Your big 4.
I'm definitely putting Cro-Mags in there.
Yep.
I will put Slayer.
Okay.
Biohazard.
Okay. This is where I always wish I had copyright of the Jeopardy theme song right here.
Big 4. Let's see. Biohazard, Cro-Mags, Slayer. I mean, if we're just going to go by things that I listen to the most in my life that I've put on repeat over and over and over, I guess. I mean, God, it's a tough one. I mean, if we could cut a band's musical career in half, I would say Metallica.
Yeah.
I mean,
I kind of thought when you were rolling it around that's where you were going to go. And by the way, just shelled out $111 per ticket to go see Metallica next year at the Carrier Dome. So
wow,
yeah.
If I could cut them off after like And Justice for All, I would say Metallica, because I think that's probably growing up during the 80s. I listened to that the most, But after Injustice for All, I didn't really,
Yeah.
I could even deal with the load, the reload, but when they started putting out the Death Magnetics, the Saint Angers, the whatever these new albums are that they're putting out, it's like, God, it's detrimental to your name, man.
Yeah.
You're putting out some garbage.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta stop.
Yeah.
I'm
the most excited about the Carrier Dome show because Pantera and Suicidal Tendencies are going to be with them.
Well, that's that's awesome right there.
Yeah, yeah. But
that's a great show.
But it is a far cry from, and I know obviously you can expect to pay what you did years and years ago, but they were also one of my first concerts in the '80s, and a stark difference in ticket prices. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I remember when the tickets for shows like that were like $12 in the '80s.
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty
now crazy.
Now, like you said, what, $111?
$111.
And let me ask you, where are you sitting? And
I was just gonna say, and mind you, fucking these are nosebleed seats too. Yeah,
nosebleed,
absolutely.
111. Yeah. There you go.
$111. If I wanted to be anywhere near the stage or that snake pit thing that they have, then you're talking easily like $1,200 to $1,500 and over.
Okay, so I did security for a while at Barclays Center and UBS Arena.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked a lot of big concerts. I worked like the Dua Lipa concert. I worked Billie Eilish concert. I worked the Harry Styles concert. Okay, for those who don't know Harry Styles, he was in One Direction.
Yep.
Harry Styles tickets. I was in section 200, which is now you got the floor.
Mm-hmm.
You got your 100s, which is like the ones that are the seats that are right on the ice if you going to see an Islander game,
right?
And then you got your section 200, which is the next one, not quite the nosebleeds, but the next section. So section 200s. I happen to have a conversation with some people that are in that section. I said, just out of curiosity, how much are the tickets? How much did you guys get these tickets for? Now they were in the last row of 200, right before you walk out to go to the concession stands.
Yep,
$1,250.
Wow.
Last section. That's the Harry Styles concert. And mind you, I'm sure he gets paid quite handsomely. But could you imagine paying $1,250 for a seat that's like right outside, almost at the concession stand, the last section of 200?
And I know One Direction was pretty fucking hot for a while, man. But you're also talking about a guy that really hasn't had a longevity or like a legendary career either yet.
No. Nope, it's crazy. But this is today. This is the world of today. Like all ticket prices are now insane since after the pandemic. I mean, think about it. Like the Billie Eilish concert tickets were unbelievable. I mean, same thing with Dua Lipa. One thing I'll say for Dua Lipa, she's a performer.
Yeah.
Like I was fortunate enough to be doing security for the stage. Like I was literally like I could just go like this, and there she was right there. I was like around the stage and watching the show. Insane. Like she's got dances everywhere. People coming out with roller skates. People coming out with skateboards. All kinds of crazy, like the stage setups, like houses coming in off the stage and all crazy stuff. It's like real performing, like
putting on a show for the people.
Putting on a show, like I feel like you get your money's worth. But when you go to the Harry Styles concert, as good as he may have sounded or as good as he may have been to the people that like him, all you're seeing is him on the stage doing a little dancing. That's it.
Yeah,
that's for the price of the ticket. I'd take Dua Lipa over Harry Styles 100 out of 100.
So from a fan standpoint, since we are talking about concerts, what was your fucking favorite show that you've ever been to as a fan?
The Valentine's Day Massacre at Nassau Coliseum with Slayer.
Okay. Who else was with Slayer?
It was Sepultura.
Jesus Christ! And Sepultura, this is the Max Cavalera days, or
this is 1991.
1991. Okay. So the Cavalera brothers are still in the band then.
Yeah, and it was general admission, but it was all seats on the floor, which would be the ice where the Islanders would play.
Right.
So there were all seats. After the concert, the floor had no seats. They were all in a mountain in the back of the arena, piled up like mile high. It was just insane. Like that's why it was called the Valentine's Day Massacre. It was February 14th. It was Valentine's Day of 1991.
And now what happens, you know, because you have been inside these arenas, you have like, you know, been there as a fan, but you've been there from a security standpoint as well. What happens, man? Like, you know, does that detour like an arena? Is that like a deterrent for an arena to say, you know, fucking never again with heavy metal bands?
Look what happened at Slayer at the Fell Forum in '86.
Yeah.
They banned them for a long time. They weren't able to come back to Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
You know?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's not the band's fault. I mean, Tom Araya tried to stop the shit that was going on, but, you know, what are you going to do?
Yeah. It's hard to stop them Slayer fans once they get going.
Slayer's got a lot of meathead fans.
They're rabid, too. Yeah, they're a rabid fan base, man. So,
they really are.
Okay, now, so this question may or may not offend people, but someone suggested that I put this into my itinerary here. So so we're going to do the rock swap here, man. If we can get back a dead rock star and we can give one to fucking God that he can have, who would we want back?
Who would we want back? I mean, if consensus would say, I guess, Dimebag.
We'd want Dimebag back. And who are we giving away to give Dimebag back?
Who are we giving away? Oh, man, there's plenty of people who I'd give away.
One that comes to mind right now where you would say to God, if as a bargaining chip, God, give us back Dime, and you can have maybe not even a musician, but I think maybe appropriately, since we're getting a musician back, it probably should be. I guess I haven't thought this through enough.
If we're giving Dime, I guess we could give back take anybody from any new metal band.
Anybody from any new metal band? Like maybe could we give away like Fred Durst? Or do we like him?
I don't know. I heard Fred ain't a bad guy. I
know. He's obviously got a sense of humor. He just took Corey Feldman with him out on tour.
Exactly. I mean, I heard he's an all right guy. I don't know if we want to give away Fred. So maybe Fred's not a good one. I mean,
Bieber?
Bieber. This guy's name's been coming up in the news a lot lately with Diddy. I mean,
yeah,
he's probably gone through enough of his own shit.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe we should give the poor guy a pass.
Yeah, he can get a pass with that because of Diddy. Let's see.
Harry Styles ought to go just for charging people in the 200 section, $1,250.
That's a perfect. Give him away.
Yeah, give him away.
For fucking people over.
Now, I get the feeling that this last one is very subjective, but I think you may have answered this at the beginning, man. But if I'm dropping SAL LoCOCO off on a desert island, man, and he can only take one fucking album, man, you may have answered it already. Is it the Age of Coral album? But if you can only have one till the end of time, I mean, you're going to die on this desert island with this fucking album.
Age of Coral.
It's Age of Coral. You said it at the beginning, and you stuck by it all the way to the fucking end. We tied it around back fucking nicely, man. It's the album. It's the album that you'll go to your grave with, man.
Yep. I mean, look, my favorite band of all time is probably Biohazard.
Yeah. I
ain't even gonna lie, because the music for me, like they changed a lot. Like they brought a lot of elements to music that I love personally.
Yeah.
And they were a big inspiration in my life. So I mean, Age of Coral, greatest record ever written, but the Cro-Mags have written other records as well. So I can't say that they're the greatest band.
Yeah.
But that record is, you know, that's the greatest record. With that hands down. Like when you talk hardcore history and you're saying best hardcore record ever made, Age of Coral, 100%.
Okay.
And that'll be every time I say it'll always be the same. But Biohazard is my favorite record, my favorite band. And, you know, their first three records is like no first three records in probably any band's history, like that are that amazing. You know, I mean, Metallica's first three records, yes, but when I can go through the first three records of a band and I almost know every single damn word to every single song, I can't tell you like I know every single word to every Metallica song on their first three records. You know, I was a fan, and there's songs I love, but even on like, you know, I'm not gonna say every song is like fantastic on Kill 'Em All, or every song is amazing on Ride the Lightning. Master of Puppets, every song is amazing. I ain't even gonna lie. That's an amazing record. It's amazing. But the first two records, you know, I think in Metallica's case, they were still honing their sound. They didn't know where they wanted to be yet. And Master of Puppets, it just all came together. It's just like they got the right recipe. They stirred it up enough.
Yep.
And then they poured it in the bowl, and that's what they got.
Yep. And shout out to Biohazard. And I'm glad you brought them up, because I get so many messages in my Facebook Messenger of people that I'm scheduling interviews with or whatever, and I got to go back and nail down Danny Schuler. We've talked a bunch of times. I got to get him on here, man. I know that we're going to make it happen eventually. Sometimes it's just itineraries and this and that.
Of course. I mean, look at how long it took for me and you to get together.
I know. A lot of times it's just one of those things or whatever. You know? And then, I'll go to the bottom of my Messenger list and I'll be like, oh, there's someone I haven't talked to in a while, man, and we were supposed to fucking do it. Now fucking let me touch base with them again or whatever. A lot of times it's just retouching base a lot. You know what I mean? Seems like Evan Seinfeld might be a little out of my reach right now. I've reached out to him, man, but he's probably in that band, probably like, considered probably like the biggest guy. He'd probably be the biggest fish to go after out of those guys.
Well,
I think they're all massively talented, though.
He's done a lot though with television and stuff like that.
Yeah. What did you think when he did the television thing? I specifically remember, man, like when he did the VH1 thing where he did the Supergroup. Do you remember when he did Supergroup?
I remember when he did Supergroup. I also remember when he did Oz, when he was on Oz.
Yep.
So,
I kind of like though, dude, because he did, Scott Ian was part of that band too, though, and then Ted Nugent and Sebastian Bach, and then John Bonham's son.
But I think Evan brings a different element when he did the Supergroup, because he's like a comedian, kind of like, he's in his own right. He's funny. He's a funny character,
And I think when you look at a band like that, man, like if you don't have him and Scott Ian in there, man, it just doesn't have the teeth. I mean, Ted Nugent, a legend and all, Sebastian Bach, a legend in that world or whatever, man. Right. But to really give them that fucking balls and that grit, though, dude, having those guys in there was almost key,
Absolutely. I agree.
I'm glad we got a chance to do this, Sal. This has been a lot of fucking fun, man.
For sure, bro. I'm glad too.
Yeah, for sure. Stay in touch, man. I'd love to have you back on again, man. I would be remiss if I didn't ask before I got out of here, though, man. Will there be new Sworn Enemy music, and do you have a timeline on when that might be?
Well, from what I've heard, they're working on it.
2025, do you think, is realistic?
2025 sounds realistic.
2025 sounds realistic. Okay, and I don't. Well, the guys don't tell you nothing, right? So just
no, they don't want to tell me. They don't want to tell me anything. They want to. They'll let me know when the songs are done.
So they'll so they'll just hand you music and they'll just say, "This is what you got to work with. Put some lyrics to this."
Pretty much.
And now, who wins the fucking Yankees Guardian series, and how long does it go? It just started, I imagine, right?
It's on tonight, 7:38, I think, something like that.
And is it game one?
Game one. Yep.
So the Yankees and how many?
I'm gonna say Yankees in 6.
Yankees in 6, and will the Mets be able to overcome the Dodgers?
I don't think so.
You're a Queens guy, too, and no love for the Mets, huh?
I don't hate the Mets.
You don't hate the Mets?
I don't hate the Mets. I hate the Red Sox. I hate any team from Massachusetts. That's my rivalry.
What about 1986? 1986 was a good year to be a Mets fan.
1986 was a good year to be a Mets fan, and
I love that team.
I wish that I hope that they were going to beat the Red Sox, because I hate the Red Sox.
That was like Christmas for a fucking for me, because the Mets won the World Series, and then the Giants, which I'm also a New York Giants fan, the Giants
won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, beat the Broncos and John Elway in the Super Bowl. So that was a big year for New York sports.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, look, this year could be a big year for New York sports too. If you think about it, the Knicks, they're looking good.
Yeah, I like what the Knicks did going out and getting Towns. I like
too.
that.
Cat's a big addition to that team. If they
I did hate to see Dante DiVincenzo leave, though, man. But
I'll tell you what they're going to miss, though. What they're going to miss the most, they're going to miss the toughness that Julius Randle brought. He was no nonsense.
Yeah, he was.
He was like, that's the dude you want in your corner when you're going up against somebody. He will have your back and he will take care of you. If you can't handle the fight yourself, he'll fight it for you. That's the dude. That's Julius Randle.
Charles Oakley style.
Exactly. They're not getting that with Karl Anthony Towns. He's soft.
Yeah, you got to have that.
Great player. Can shoot the threes for a 7-foot man.
Yeah.
But I mean, he'll give you the 23-10, but he's not giving you the same 23-10 that Julius gave you. Julius gives you the hard 23-10. He'll play the defense on 5 different positions. He can cover the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
I agree.
And it's like, it's tough to lose that guy, but you know what? We'll see what they're going to get with Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, a lot of other players now going to have to step up and do their part, because they lost 2 good players in DiVincenzo, who's he shot 40% from 3 last year.
Oh, man.
And Julius, they're going to lose. They lost a lot with those 2 guys, but we'll see.
And plus, DiVincenzo had that magic in the playoffs too. He had that magical run. You know what I mean? Like that's gonna, that resonates with because obviously when you play in New York City, man, you're playing on a big stage, man, under some bright lights, man. It's not an easy city, man. Like they'll run you, they'll string you up and run you the fuck out of there. How they 100%. Haven't done it with Daniel Jones though yet, I can't fucking figure out why we haven't run him out of town yet.
But here's a big addition, Bridges.
Yeah, Bridges is nice, and they seem to have tapped into that. That whole hey, if these guys had a camaraderie in college, man, because they got that whole Villanova thing with Bridges and Josh Hart and Brunson.
Absolutely. Yep. But that was DiVincenzo too.
Yeah,
he was whole part of that whole Villanova thing.
Now, what about football? Where do you stand on football? Giants or Jets?
Oh, let's not even go there, man. I don't like either team, but I'm a Cowboys fan.
Oh, so you go outside the state for your football, huh?
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow. Okay. So
they got destroyed yesterday by the Lions. Yeah. Horrible game. Like they're playing like a bunch of fucking pansies. Like they're a bunch of pussies, man. Fuck the Cowboys. They suck.
Yeah, the NFL is really a watered-down product, though, now. It's not the football that I remember when I was a kid, though.
Well, nowadays, that's because they don't allow you to do shit anymore.
You can't do anything. You can't. For God's sakes, man, how hard is it? I mean, how many guys can say that they've scored a touchdown in the NFL, and now you get in there and they don't want you to fucking celebrate or hoop it up at all, man. You know, you got to go in there and just pretend like you're punching a time clock. You can't have any fucking fun. You can't hit anybody hard. You can't fucking get anywhere near a fucking quarterback nowadays. I told my son this. I'm like, within 5 years, I think it'll be a fucking flag football league.
Basically,
I don't think they'll want people with all these concussion protocols. And I work in healthcare. I'm a nurse, in my day job or whatever. So I understand, man, being on top of your health or whatever, man. But I mean, that's what these guys fucking signed up for,
Right. Nobody said go be a football player.
Right. Like I did 160 episodes of a boxing podcast that I co-hosted with my son. Boxing is the same way, man. These guys fucking signed up, man. They know that they're going to get their face fucking punched 200 times a fucking night. You know what I mean? But
think about it. There's what would you say? So you got 5 offensive linemen and sometimes 4 defensive linemen. So you're basically out of those defensive linemen, maybe 2 of them are in good shape, 2 of them are just really big. That they're run stoppers.
Right.
The offensive lineman, you get maybe 1 that's really an athletic offensive lineman, where the other 4 are maybe just big guys. What other sport can you get 330-pound out of shape dudes to make $10 million a year?
I know.
I mean, so you got
to
think about that. Like, look, I'm a fat fuck. I can go fucking play football. I can be an offensive lineman and block somebody. Yeah.
Well, that Michael Moore even got a movie made about him, The Blind Side.
Right, but that was a great movie, man. Right,
a great movie, but like how many offensive linemen get a movie made about him? That's like Irish Mickey Ward, man, a fucking boxer that finishes his career 37-12, and Mark Wahlberg plays him in a movie. Yep. I mean, like. If someone's making a movie about your life, you've done something fucking right.
Absolutely, 100% agree with that.
Now, since Vinny Stigma wrote a memoir, man, you've seen and done a lot fucking throughout your fucking life, man. Is that anything you'd ever entertain, man? Would you ever put pen to paper and write down like the memoir, of your time in the hardcore world?
I'll tell you what. It's all about the money.
Yeah.
Show me the Benjamins.
Publishing companies, SAL will listen to an offer.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, put an offer on the table, man, right? It's like sitting down with the mafia, man, right? Make me an offer I can't refuse.
Make me an offer I can't refuse.
Sal, thanks for doing this, man. Really, it was a lot of fun chatting up with you, man. We'll do this again for sure,
My pleasure, man. Thank you so much for having me on your program.
Yeah, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much, man. Good talking to you, man.
Hell yeah, we'll do it again in the future, right?
Absolutely, my friend. Thank you, brother.
All right, thank you, man.
Right. Yeah. There he goes, folks. SAL LoCOCO, legendary hardcore frontman for the equally legendary New York hardcore band Sworn Enemy. I feel like I should have put something in the middle there. Sworn motherfucking Enemy. The hardest of the fucking hard. Their last album was 2019's Game Changer. Everything they put out is a game changer, man. They bring the fucking heavy. Almost 25 years into an amazing and illustrious career, man. Sal, a fucking great guy. As you heard, we've been chopping it up back and forth, man, trying to set this up. Glad I finally got a chance to run him down, man. If you've been sleeping on Sworn Enemy, I don't know where the fuck you've been in the last almost 25 fucking years, but go back, do yourself a service, check out their discography, man. If you like the fucking heavy, the metalcore, the hardcore crossover sound or whatever, man, they bring it, and they bring it heavy and in a big fucking way, man. Shout out to them, man. As I said, if you're looking for the most recent shit, it's 2019's Game Changer. But come on, you can't go wrong with the whole discography. Face melting, fucking face punching, throat punching, fucking scrotum fucking kneeing. It'll hurt you. It'll hurt you all around the fucking board, man. But you'll be a better person fucking for it, man. So go get some sworn enemy in your life, man. And like we talked about, if there's another sworn enemy out there, man, or you're thinking about using that for your name, fucking don't. Don't even fucking try it, man. Drop that idea right now, man. Because us New Yorkers, we'll come the fuck after you, man. Find a fucking different name, man. Sworn enemy is already taken, and it's fucking taken by New Yorkers. We won't hear of it. Tell him, Freddie Mercury puppet. Or just sit back there like a mouthful of teeth, which is what you pretty much always are. So there's another great episode. Thank you, SAL LoCOCO from Sworn Enemy, man. That was a blast. Fun fucking conversation. But aren't they always here on Pod Scum? This is the spot to come for the best conversations. I'm sorry, man. I'm a great conversationalist, and I bring out the great conversations in my guests. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but beep, beep. There it is, man. I'm patting myself on the back, Barry Horowitz style, for all you old school wrestling fans, man. Definitely like and follow us on Facebook, man. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell on this channel to check out where all the cool kids come to chop it up right here with your boy, Rexx Ruger. And like I always say when I end these things, remember, kids, take it easy and keep it sleazy.